In this bowl we have 3 tablespoons of butter, a teaspoon of vanilla. I have a special blend of vanilla that I make myself, and 2 egg yolks, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of warm milk with yeast, 1½ teaspoons of yeast, and 2 cups of flour. First thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we're going to dump the dry ingredients into the mixing bowl. The sugar and the almost broke my dish. Sugar and the flour. I'm going to attach the dough attachment, and I'm going to give it a whirl just to get it mixed up. There's also a pinch of salt that I did put in the yeast. I actually put 1/2 teaspoon of salt, as well as a pinch of the 1/4 cup of sugar into the yeast, so that we could get that going. And so now that we gave that a whirl, we're going to go ahead and get this yeast into here, and our butter and egg yolks. Of course the butter is going to stick, there we go, and we're going to let this do it to it. Just turn it on low and let it start mixing until a dough is formed. I'll be back shortly. It's been approximately 1.5 minutes. The dough is still working, getting the flour all pulled into it. This is an awesome way to make your breads and pastries, and whatever allows you to use the dough hook. Saves you a life of trouble, my opinion anyway. We're just going to let this go. The dough is going to be nice and pliable and not sticky and beautiful once it's done. So I'll be back shortly. I'm going to say probably about 8 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes. After beating the dough with the dough hook there for several minutes, like I said, about 8 minutes or so, the dough came out nicely. I did have to do a little scraping in the pan, the bowl, to get, I wanted it all for the most part. As you can see, the dough is nice. It is a stretchy dough, as you can see, but I'm going to reshape it real quick here. Just do that folding under thing. And plop it back down. Sorry, I don't have a tripod. Plopped it back down in there, and we're going to cover it with cling wrap, and I'm going to put some water that I've boiled in the oven, and with this in there so it can proof. I want it to more than double in size. So I just took the dough out of the oven from proofing in the oven with the pan of hot water. It's probably been about an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes. I have another pan all buttered up with grease, butter dough. I'm going to go ahead and separate this into smaller pieces and make our sweet rolls. I'll show you how I'm doing that in just a moment. Okay, so I lightly buttered this, and I have my dough. I'm going to flip it out, and oh, it's stuck a little to the side. There's our dough. I'm going to go ahead and kind of shape this as best as I can. Leave a little bit of fluff. I'm not going to beat this dough down. Ooh, got a little bit too much oil apparently. Yum. And I'm basically just going to use something over here. Pizza cutter sounds like a winner. After I dry it all off, I'm just going to go up the center, then go across. Go with 8. Basically, I'm just going to shape them. Man, I don't know if that's going to come out so good. And make small rounds and place them in the buttered pan, which I will bring over here now. Well, the centerpiece has got less oil on them. They feel a lot better. I'm not doing too much kneading to these. Just a few folds and tucks. I probably had to rearrange in the pan. Let me see if you can see it. Yep, you can. Awesome. Oh yes, I'm definitely going to have to rearrange. This one's a little smaller, but that'll be okay. We are going to cover these and let these proof again while the oven heats up. And I'm going to set them right on the oven. This time it won't be long though, not no hour. Alright. And there are our rolls sitting in the pan, and I'll be back shortly. I'm going to let them rise again. It's been about 20 minutes and they have risen up. They're not double in size, but I think I'm going to let them rise another 20. Then I'm going to throw them in the oven. I'll show you once another 20 passes. I almost forgot to share this part with you. Next you brush with the egg whites after the 40 minutes in total went by that I let these rise. Yum, yum. The egg whites, these are from the 2 egg yolks at the beginning of the recipe. I just saved them, put them in the fridge with a lid on the bowl. The egg whites help to make the rolls themselves brown and shiny, delicious. Oops, I stabbed it slightly. No stabbing of the rolls. Some of these I'd already brushed. I'm just slightly hitting them again. Alright, so now I'm going to place them in an oven that's been preheated to 350 degrees for approximately 20 minutes to 25 minutes. We'll see. And I'll show you once they're done. So now I'm basically going to brush them with butter. They cooked 23 minutes. I should have left a side on it, but it's okay. Just give them a brushing with some melted butter. These will be amazing, and I will show you what they're like in just a few minutes because they're still super hot. They just came out of the oven. Try to use all the butter so I don't waste any. So I can always clean the counter, right? And wash the pot holder. They're already pulling apart, as you can see. Lovely. Oh, beautiful.